The moment we've all been waiting for, guys. Good evening and welcome to the first race of the 2019 Talk of the Devil Academy League. Yep, it's the Academy League. I will be your master of ceremonies for this evening, Mr. Fraser McKenzie. Only 10 drivers here this evening, but it is sure to be an absolute barnstormer. So it turns out it's actually 9 drivers we've got this evening, and I'll run you through the drivers that we have. Right now, we've got Literal Pepper is Kieran Knight. Expert Siren, who's in the pits, is Michael Handel, or Mike Awesome as he was known throughout Season 1. Wadobu is Banzan tonight is Matthew Barraclough. Ace HM is John Taylor. Vape Lord is Steve Anzalone. Mr. Wire on, Y with a 3 is J. Bay Lou. Yumandul is Joe Newman, and Zola is Michael Booker. So 9 drivers we have. And a big thank you to those that are spectating in on the stream as we speak. One of them being Matthew Goodyear, who made a few appearances in Season 1 of the main league. Main league is running at the same time as this Academy League. It's the first qualifying, first race of the season. 20 races in all. Plenty of action to look forward to over the course of this evening. It will be the same rules as the main league. Full qualifying session with a 100% race distance. A lot of excitement in the air. We've got Matthew fastest at the moment to 1:21.7. Waddington second, 1:22.6. Jay, 1:22.9. He's gone off. And that was Kieran Knight, 27.2, but he has gone off. He's damaged his front wing quite considerably. The great thing about this being, and this is equal performance, so each driver will have a unique livery. And as we see here with Michael Handel, He managed to win the season finale of season 1 in Abu Dhabi. Feels like he's set the already. Getting himself ready for his flying lap. Steve Anzalone yet to set a lap time, as with John Newman. So it's Matthew Barraclough fastest, Anthony Waddington second, Jay Bailu third, Joe Newman now up to fourth, John Taylor fifth, Michael Booker sixth, Michael Handel seventh, and Kieran Knight in eighth, which leaves Steve Anzalone, the only man yet to set a lap time. It was a little bit wide, and look at that, he has damaged his front wing, but hopefully the damage isn't too severe that it doesn't affect him too much. Hopefully it doesn't affect him too much, but whatever the case, sweeping around the left-hander of turn 11. Turn 10 as we head towards turns 11 and 12. And I said it in the very first race last season that it is a very easy place to spin and lose control of the car. A few drivers from that race can attest to that. Into the pits comes Michael Handel. And the great thing about this Academy League is that it gives these Academy drivers the opportunity to race, and it also means that there's also an opportunity to get called up to the main league should there be a slot available. And of course, one thing I'm going to be doing as well is I'm also going to be keeping up to date with the Talk of the Devil main league. And, well, that's a bit of a change of pace. It turns out in the main league, it is actually raining, whereas here, it's completely dry, which is going to make things very interesting. And I've got my commentary partner, Ivan. He just came on board this season. Drivers in that race this evening. Here's Steve Anzalone. Nothing too complicated with his livery, it's just very simple, to the point. Gonna make things very interesting to see how it all plays out. And like I say, a massive thanks to those who are watching the stream right now, some of them being Academy drivers in the league themselves. So, big shout out to you guys. As Steve comes across the line to start his flying lap. Let's ride on board with him for this lap. Comes down to turn 1, with over 100 miles an hour. Sneaks round to the left hand of turn 2, the second of the DRS zones. Heading towards turn 3, accelerating to over 190 miles an hour. Braking down to just 60, heading round turns 3 and 4. 90 miles an hour round turn 4. Round to turn 5. About 150 miles an hour, accelerating down towards turn 6. And then a sweeping left hand of turn 7, and then a sweeping right, turn 8. 180 miles an hour, breaks down to just over 70. Heads down this long left-hander. 180 plus miles an hour, round to turn 12. And he goes wide, he's gone wide, he's lost it. And somehow manages to keep it out of the wall. How he kept that out of the wall is beyond me. That will have ruined his lap. But that's okay, because these drivers are not concerned about being eliminated. It's only the third part of qualifying that they need to be concerned about, where they can go for it and see who is going to start on pole position for the first canning race of the season. At 1:30.972. That is not what he would have wanted. Nevertheless, very exciting. Brave man, he's going for another lap. Yellow flags in sector 3. He's running out of ERS at this point. And oh, that's a shame. And what's happened there is Kieran Knight has had an incident. There he goes. Steve just drove past him there. About 5 minutes to go. Across the line, this is a much faster lap from Steve across the line. What does he get? He gets 4th, 23.7. Matthew Goodyear bringing up on social media that you have to be on the edge though there. You have to be on the edge there to set a decent lap time. And he's no doubt talking about that famous turn 12 that claimed a number of victims in the season opener last season. Matthew Baraklov setting a lap time now. Very simple livery he's gone for. And oh, we've had another incident. We have had another incident. There's another man out of this part of qualifying. That is Michael Handel, winner of the season finale in Abu Dhabi. Had an incident. We'll see what that is shortly. Between sectors 1 and 2 came up on my screen. And Matthew getting faster. And the big question is, will he see that infamous turn 12 that he lost it on? If so, I wouldn't be surprised. And there goes Matthew through turn 12. It doesn't look like we're going to see where the incident happened, because they managed to clear the car. But nevertheless, Matthew coming across the line now. He's currently fastest. 21.7 to beat. Is he going to improve on it? He doesn't. 21.751. He doesn't improve. but that's brilliant consistency for him. So here we are with John Taylor on his flying lap. He's just coming round to finish the second sector now, currently 7th. Through turn 12, and he almost loses it. Oh, he's lost it! He's lost it! He's in the wall! John Taylor's lost it out of turn 12, and he hit the wall. Oh, he's got to be careful as the car approaching. Got to be careful! Oh! And that will be it's a grid penalty for Matthew Barraclough. That is a grid penalty for a collision with John Taylor. Matthew Barraclough with a grid penalty for his collision with John Taylor. Just over a minute to go for this part of qualifying. Joe Newman and Michael Booker, the only drivers out on a lap right now, which means they will be able to finish their lap. But again, this part of qualifying is not of major importance. The second part will determine what tyres they start on. It's the third part of qualifying that will determine where they start on the grid. Right now, very slow around that Penultimate corner, into the final corner now, turn 16. Doesn't use the DRS, he's not overly concerned about that. There you go. And again, this first part of qualifying is not of any concern, but it will help with getting data for the drivers. So that is the order for the first part of qualifying. It's Matthew, Anthony, Jay, Steve, Joe, Michael, John, Michael Booker, expert starring Michael Handel, and Kieran Knight. looks like, oh my, looks like we're down to 8 for this part of qualifying. Looks like we're down to 8. So Matthew, Jay, Joe Newman, Michael Booker. Yeah, it's Kieran Knight. Kieran Knight is not. Well, that means he'll be starting at the back of the grid, depending. He'll be starting essentially 9th, depending on where. This second part of qualifying, this will determine what tyres the drivers will start on the race. Kieran has a major saving grace that he's going to have free tyre choice for the race. Looks like, oh, John Taylor. Looks like John Taylor has technical issues. We've got a couple of drivers that have technical issues right now. Hopefully they can get those fixed. That would be a shame if they ended up not being able to continue. The only driver out on track right now is Michael Booker. He's the only driver out on track right now. So as it stands, it is Michael Handel. Just wait just now as Michael Booker comes across the line. Does he improve? No, he doesn't. But as it stands, it is Michael Handel fastest, Steve Anzalo in second, Anthony Waddington third, Matthew Barraclough fourth, J. Bailu in fifth. Sixth is Michael Booker. John Taylor and Joe Newman are the only drivers yet to set a lap time at the moment. Yeah, Matthew Goodyear bringing up on social media once again. He's been very active on social media throughout this qualifying session so far. It's going to be interesting to see what the guys on the softs do for strategy. Well, funny you mention that, Matthew, because the guys that start on the soft tyres, they'll be anticipating going between 18 and 28 laps on the soft tyres. The guys on the mediums between 36 and 46 laps. And the hard tyres will be between 27 and 44 laps. So we could be looking at a lot of one-stop strategies. Time will tell. So here we are with Steve Anzalone. And it looks like, oh, hang on. Fastest man on the track at the moment. Michael Handel. Technical issues for him. He's out of this part of qualifying. It's going to be interesting. Matthew Barraclough trying to go onto the mediums. So far, his lap looks okay. He made his DRS, 23.6 to improve on, and he does 1.4 second improvement, and he goes second. 122.2. That's a staggering lap from him. Where that came from is beyond me. A staggering lap from him. Michael Booker, he'll need to be very careful here because those tyres 5 laps old, soon to be 6. Matthew Baraklov and Michael Booker. And Matthew Goodyear delivering his input once again. Medium to hard is the fastest one stop in my opinion, at least the most stable for tyre wear. Well, if that ends up happening, the driver will certainly have you to thank for that one. 25.7 for Michael Booker. He did improve. It looks like Steve Anzalone is going to be going out, and it looks like he's going to be on the medium. Excuse me. It's going to make things interesting. And indeed, he is on an out lap. He's going to have time to do a lap. That'll be it. If he can improve on his time, it will definitely make things very interesting for the race. Steve is getting himself warmed up for his flying lap. And it looks like Waddington has managed to fix his issues. And then the final few corners to start his flying lap. It will be his one and only lap. If he can improve on his time, it means he's got an advantage and he can go longer in the first stint. Here we go. Final sequence of corners now. He's into sector 3. Looking okay. Maybe touch and go to see if he can improve on his time. Well, he's cutting it fine here. You never know. You bought the lap. Does that mean for the start? Does that lead with the start on medium, or is it going to be the softs? Michael Booker's going to be at the biggest disadvantage here. The tyres he set his fastest lap on 6 laps old. He's going to have a very short first stint if that's the case. And there you go. And would you believe it? John Taylor and Joe Newman didn't even set a lap. They didn't set a lap, so what does that mean for their tyre choice? Nevertheless, Michael Handel, Matthew Baraclough, Steve Anzalone, Anthony Waddington, J-Bay Liu, here we go. This is what determines the order for the grid. 5 of the 8 drivers out on track right now. Michael Booker that isn't out on track at the moment. Flight sector 3 already. Oh, we've got another grid penalty, and that's J-Bay Liu for a collision with Anthony Waddington. Now, what could have happened there remains to be seen, but we're with Matthew Baraclough right now. Who has the fastest lap of the moment with 21.1, seems to be breaking into the 120s today. John Taylor second with a 23.9. Joe Newman 24.0. just off the line. He was fourth. 88.8? What happened there? What the hell? Who knows? Steve Anzalo on his lap. So the drivers still to set a lap time. Michael Handel, Anthony Waddington and J.B. Liu. Actually, where is Jay from? It turns out he's from England. Here comes Michael Handel. Oh, and he spins it into the wall. It's going to be touch and go, see if he can get another lap in. As I thought, J.B. Liu, he's from London, but he lives in London, but he's originally from China. How about that, folks? Our first Chinese driver in the league. I don't believe we've ever had a Chinese driver in Formula One before. The pits. He comes. conservative approach. It definitely looks like it's helping him to try and get as much clear air as possible for his flying lap. Michael Handel seems to be looking okay at the moment. Oh, hang on, what's happened there? Nevertheless, here we go. It's going to be close. JB Liu will be able to start all that. And it's, oh, hang on. That is Michael Booker. Michael Booker's out of the session. He will not be able to improve on his time. The worst he'll start is depending on what happens with grid penalties. Michael Handel storming round his lap. He's a man on a mission here. He'll want to have a good starting position on the grid. And that means it's Matthew Barraclough, Steve Anzalone, and Michael Handel. They're the only drivers that can finish their laps. And Matthew goes into the 120s. Can Steve improve on his time? He doesn't. But where is he going to go? Wow! Michael Handel in second place. But he will inherit pole position because of Matthew's time penalty. JB Liu, he will be knocked down to 8th. We have Matthew Barraclough on pole here, but it will be, we'll see what happens when it comes to the grid penalties. Matthew Barraclough takes the pole for now. We'll see what happens with the grid penalties. In the order, Matthew Barraclough, Michael Handel, JB Liu, Anthony Waddington, Steve Anzalone, Joe Newman, John Taylor, and Michael Booker. And now, it's race day. So here we go. It is race day for the Talk of the Devil Academy League. We come to you from Albert Park in Australia. Australia has the most cafes and restaurants per capita in the world, nicknamed the sporting capital of the world. And it is, and part of that is down to the fact that it's the only city to host an F1 race and a tennis Grand Slam. Capital city from Australia is Melbourne between 1901 and 1927, and it gets its name from Australis, meaning of the south. It's a great circuit. There's 3.28 miles. You've got three less. It is race time in Australia. Whoa! Whoa, what happened there? I think that's John Taylor. John Taylor's been left on the grid. Grid. now he's got a lot of ground to make up here. Oh, this is not a great start there. But everyone is pretty much as they were on the grid. And something's happened to Kieran Knight. Kieran Knight's already gone off. Disaster for him. Meanwhile, John Taylor, and on a mission, he is working his way back through the field. So, the order, it is Michael Handel in the lead, Anthony Waddington second, Joe Newman third, Matthew Baraklov fourth, Michael Booker fifth, Jay Bailey sixth, John Taylor seventh. You've got Steve Angelo eighth, and Kieran Knight rounding up the top 10. There's Joe, Matthew, Jay, and Kieran all on medium tyres. They'll be going longer on their first stint, and we've already got people in the pits. Front wing for Steve and a front wing for Kieran. This is not what they would have wanted. Not the way they would have wanted to start. They would have wanted to start the race. But it has happened regardless. And interestingly, they go out onto the softs. Matthew Baraklov battling with Joe Newman. Matthew goes slightly wide on turn 12. Joe Newman, nowhere in sight, and he loses it on turn 12. There you go, he plummets down the order. John Taylor almost losing it there. Is there any damage to the car, though? It doesn't look like it. DRS is now enabled. You can do that when you're moving 1 second of the car ahead. Lap 3 already. We've got John Taylor on the back of Michael Booker. Fighting sector 1. Battling with Michael Booker. We've got Joe Newman closing in on them. There's the DRS. John Taylor getting past. Looks like he's getting past with ease. Shuts the door just like that. And as a result, Joe Newman gets ahead as well. That was very aggressive there from John Taylor, forcing Michael Booker off the track. Not what he would have wanted. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Joe Newman's out of the race. And it's turn 12, the infamous turn 12 Australia. Turn 12 claims its first victim today. Joe Newman is out of the race at the infamous turn 12. Virtual safety car has been deployed, and quite rightly so. The car is in a very dangerous position. Joe Newman, but I've said it numerous times before and I'll say it again. Turn 12 has a history of claiming victims. Timo Glock in 2008, and especially Matt Ashman in the opening race of the Talking Devil League last season. Into lap 6 already. We're down to 8. Got Matthew Baraclough closing in on Anthony Waddington. Battle for second place. Going to be within DRS range. Closing in. He's going to try the outside. Can he make the move stick? There's a bit of a lockup. He goes wide, but Anthony keeps second place. Nothing for Matthew on this. Maybe next time around, who knows? But he's back within DRS range. Heading down the main street. John Taylor, meanwhile, gets past J.B. Liu. And Anthony trying the smart move to try and break the slipstream. And so far, it has paid off. Look at how close Matthew is. He's about half a second behind. He's not going to get past on this occasion. Instead, 6 with third. Matthew has been able to get past Anthony Waddington, but Anthony is going to have the DRS. Great battle for second place. Oh, it's too close to call. Has he got past? No, he hasn't. He's going to be in DRS range. He's going to try the outside of turn 3. Is he going to make it stick? He's going to have the inside of turn 4. Indeed he does. Woo, great battle there. J.B. Liu in the pits. Lap 8. Very early stop unless something's happened to him. The front wing change. Why am I not surprised? second place still raging on. But the more they battle with each other, the more risk they have of stopping early. And Kieran Knight has already been lapped. JB Lu, meanwhile, gets into 6th. And look at that, Matthew pulling out enough of a gap to prevent Waddington from getting a run on DRS. Lap 10. John Taylor in the pits now. It's another front wing change. We have had a lot of front wing changes throughout the course of season 1. JB Lu, meanwhile, as a result of that pit stop, gets into 5th place. And the gap for that battle for 2nd place is now up to 2.6. And hang on, who was that just went wide? I think that might have been... that might have been Kieran. At the moment, we don't know. Until lap 12, we're approaching quarter distance already. We've got that into the pits. it is our leader, Mr. Michael Handel. He is in the pits. On the lead. Is it a front wing change? Nope, it's just a tyre change. I have to get 12 laps out of those tyres. Good on him. And it's Matthew Barraclough in the lead, Anthony Waddington in second, Michael Handel third, Steve Anzalone in fourth, Jay Bailey fifth, John Taylor sixth, Michael Booker seventh, and Kieran Knight a lap down in eighth. And looks like we've got, it's a pit stop. It's another pit stop for Michael Booker. That is not ideal. Jay Bailey in the pits again. Is it another front wing change? Indeed it is. And Anthony Waddington has coming to the pits as well. It's just a front wing, it's just a regular pit stop. And the overall it is Jay Bailey, Michael Booker and Kieran Knight all lapped. But Kieran has been lapped twice now. Nothing much of note happening. There isn't any real battles on the track at the moment. Yellow flags in sector 3. Who that's for, we don't know. And we've got our first time penalty there. It is Kieran, first time penalty of the day. And John Taylor, another pit stop. It's his second of the day. Only Matthew Baraklov is the only guy. Only Matthew Baraklov has been able to stay out of trouble and avoid any penalties and incidents. He will be approaching his pit stop window soon. Despite the penalties in qualifying, he's been able to make up for those relatively quickly. He's in the lead of the race. Into the pits. Lap 19 comes. It's another front wing change. With the top four still on lead lap. And oh, he almost goes airborne in turn 12. still to come into the pits. We can see what happens. We're on to lap 20 now. And we've got a retirement. It is John Taylor. He's out of the race. That is a real shame. Andrew Barkov in the pit. We'll touch and go to see if he can make it to the end of the race. There's yellow flags in sector 2. That's where John Taylor went off. Was it the infamous turn 12? Was it the infamous turn 12? We need to wait and see what happens. No, it wasn't. It was it wasn't turn 12. That was a great strategy call there. approach lap 23. There's nothing really happening here with yellow flags in sector 3. Hang on a second. We've got yellow flags in sector 1 as we approach lap 25. We're approaching half distance. There's still nothing of note. There's still really nothing happening. It looks like it's going to be formation pretty much to the finish now. We'll wait and see what happens. And still the wait goes on for something to actually happen on the track. There's still... Steve gets a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It's his third stop of the day, not what he would have wanted. And that's, oh, he's in the wall. Not what Steve would have wanted, and that's his front wing damaged. Not what he wanted. Half distance now. Matthew Baraklov still in the lead. Waddington second. Handel third. Lou fourth. We've got Steve Anzalone in fifth. Booker sixth. And Knight in seventh. Into the wall there for Matthew. Matthew Baraklov and Waddington are the only drivers that have made just the one stop today. Definitely, and then I've actually got the stream of the main league in front of me, and it's a really shame because there's a lot of action happening there, and there's basically nothing happening here. lapping somebody else. Look at the gap Matthew has. He's got about 30 seconds in hand. That gap is continuing to grow. Lap 33. Matthew's still building his gap. Steve Anzalone. He's on the hard tyres and oh, he spun it! As I say that, he has spun it. Oh, almost collecting somebody in the process. Sectors 1 and 2, and J.B. Liu, he's out of the race. What a shame. J.B. Liu is out of the race. Sector 2. Whereabouts though in Sector 2? We'll find out shortly. Booker with a time penalty. Where did Jay go off? Just about to find out. There we go. Round at turns 5 and 6. Podium are the only drivers still on lead lap. Baraklov has got his lead to over 40 seconds now. That is not helping his engine at all. That is definitely not going to be helping his engine at all. And Steve is into the pits. Is it going to be four? Is it going to be tyres, or is it going to be another front wing change? It's another front wing change. That, I believe, makes it his 5th stop of the day. Indeed it does. That is definitely not helping his engine in any way. And while he is closing the gap to second place, it's not helping his tyres at all. keeps going at this rate, he's going to end up blowing the engine before the end of the race. Onto lap 38, 20 laps to go. We're down to 6. Yellow flags are set to 1. And again, it's still the podium that are on lead lap. Booker's third stop of the day. On to lap 40, we're approaching the closing stages of the race now. Looks like Matthew's going to try and push these tyres through to the end of the race. into the pits comes Anthony Waddington. His second stop of the day. Laps to go. And so then look at that, we have got Michael Handel Michael Handel closing in on Waddington. We have got, and there we go, Matthew Barraclough in the pits on lap 43. What is the gap going to be? The gap is around 47 seconds. Got Michael Handel bearing down on Waddington. Waddington. He's definitely starting to pick up here in the closing stages of the race. Matthew with the fastest lap of the race, 1:23.5. And here we go. Within DRS range, Michael Handel has closed in and is ready to strike. Went wide on the final corner. Going to be a great battle for second place. In order for anything to happen, Mike's going to need to get closer to Anthony. He's really wide. He loses a bit of time as a result. He'll be hoping to make that time back up. On to lap 47 now. One of the back markers, get out of the way. Drawback that Mike has is that he's on the hardest of the compounds. As a result, he won't be close enough to make any sort of impact. Yellow flags in sector 3. Then we've got Barraclough. He's almost a minute ahead of this battle as Kieran Knight into the pits. That'll be what the yellow flags are for, and it's another front wing change. Mike finally within DRS range. He can now start to finally battle big time for that second place. The gap is now a minute between Baraclough and the battle for second place. Mike has the DRS. Is it going to be close enough to make any sort of impact? Not quite. Great battle here into the closing stages. Fantastic battle for that final for the podium pole positions. And oh, something's happened here. Something has happened to Mike. Oh, it's technical issues. Technical issues for Mike. That is not what he wanted. Just as things were starting to pick up. And into the pits comes Waddington. Mike into the pits as well, and there we go. Only the second driver in history in the Talk of the Devil League, Academy or Main League, to lap everyone on the track. such a dominant win. Such a dominant performance. He's managed to stay out of trouble. And as a result, he is going to walk away with a performance that Gary Braddon would be proud of, lapping everyone on the track. report on now after Mike's technical issues. Baraklov now to start his final lap of the race. Dominant performance from him. He started 5th. Now, Matthew Baraklov, first official academy race. This will certainly turn a few heads. He'll definitely be after a spot in the main league should a slot be open to him. Matthew Baraklov coming across the line. He comes through to take the first win of the season and will stand him in good stead for starting the championship strong. Matthew Baraklov wins the Australian Grand Prix with Anthony Waddington second right alongside him, a lap down. Hey there. So I'm just in the process of getting the right. Yeah, sure.
Alright, it's sorted now.
I'm in the process of getting the rest of the podium as well.
That was eventful. Very eventful. I tried racing Matthew in the first, and when I was defending, but it's too quick. You just can't catch him.
Yeah.
Fair play to him. It was a good race.
Yeah.
I hope all you viewers enjoyed it anyway. So I certainly did. Are you getting all the others in their wheels then?
Doesn't look like we're gonna have anybody else joining us.
That's a shame.
So yeah, there we go. And we've only got the one driver from the podium this evening, folks, and that is Anthony Waddington, who finished second in the race. Anthony, welcome along.
Thank you very much for having me.
The race started off pretty well, and then everything just fell flat for a majority of the second half, and then what looked like a battle between you and third place ended up falling through because of technical issues. So how do you feel the race went from your perspective?
I reckon if I could have held Matt up longer than I did in the first stint, I reckon I'd have been alright. I had to pit again, in my last stint, because of the incident between me and the lad in third place. I'm not sure what happened, but on my screen I couldn't go no more left because I'd be on grass. And next minute he just tapped me, damaged himself, and unfortunately he retired. So I had to pit him for an extra stop, and that's why I went on soft set end.
Yeah, but still, a second place for your first race of the season. Despite being a lap down, do you think your performance today would have certainly turned a few heads in the main league?
I don't know, because I was in practice. I was in a practice session with some of them earlier, and they are pretty quick. Matt's got a chance, a really good chance.
Yeah, it's a real shame, I've just been informed by Matt that he doesn't actually have a working mic, so that's why he's not able to join us for the podium interview this evening.
Right.
But yeah, so with the second place in the bag, that's a great start to the championship for you. How do you think you're taking anything away from the race today, so you can learn something for next week?
Well, next week I'm racing with manual gears, so I didn't have manual.
Oh, I did notice with one of the drivers today that they were having problems with the manual gears. Do you think the manual gears are going to be an issue for you heading into Bahrain next week?
No, they shouldn't be.
You sound safe to say you sound very confident with Bahrain next week. Are there any tracks you're looking forward to this season?
Baku.
Yeah, very. That's
Silverstone. I love Silverstone circuit.
Yeah, everyone seems to like Silverstone just because of the history behind it. And realistically, how do you think you'll do in the championship this season?
Top three.
Top three. I like the ambition. We'll see what happens with that. But in the meantime, and thanks very much for joining me this evening. Well done for your second place, and good luck for next week in Bahrain.
Thank you very much.
And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for this evening's season opener of the Talk of the Devil Academy League. Next week it will be Bahrain. We'll see what happens there. But until then, it's good night from me. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.